You ever wonder how those massive decisions really get made? How a new highway or a huge project actually gets the green light? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and dive into how data is completely rewriting the rules of public policy and influence. See, it all boils down to this one simple but incredibly powerful idea. What people are actually saying in their own communities, that's the stuff that builds or breaks a project's reputation. And that reputation, it's everything. It's not just a nice to have, it's the actual currency that gets you the permits and the public support you need. It's a straight line from chatter to outcome. And this brings us to a huge, fundamental shift in where the real fights are being won. Because it's not just in the halls of power anymore. For decades, everyone just assumed the big decisions were made behind closed doors in some corporate boardroom. But the new reality? No way. Public policy is being forged right out in the open, in the very communities it's going to affect. The power has literally shifted from the boardroom to the backyard. So if communities are the new battleground, who are the new power brokers? Well, they're probably not who you think they are. In this new landscape, it's the local influencers who hold the cards. They're the ones steering the conversation, getting people on board, or sounding the alarm. They are literally writing the story for the entire community. And let's be super clear about what we mean by influencer. We're not talking about celebrities on social media. We're talking about trusted local voices. The small business owner, the head of the local parent-teacher association, the coach of the kids' soccer team, people with real earned credibility on the ground. So this new reality, it creates a massive challenge, right? If influence is scattered across countless local voices, how do you even begin to understand it, let alone engage with it? You're going to need a whole new toolkit. And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? In this absolute ocean of noise and chatter, how does any organization find the specific conversations and the key people that are actually driving the final outcome? The answer, it turns out, lies in a completely new category of technology. It's called Public Affairs and Community Outreach Intelligence. And it's basically a way of applying data science to the very human, sometimes messy, art of community engagement. Okay, so let's pop the hood and see how this engine actually works. At its core is this incredible platform, sometimes called a super index, and its entire job is to sift through all that noise to find the signals that actually mean something. And the scale here is it's mind-boggling. We're talking about trillions, with a T, of anonymous location signals being processed just to understand patterns of how people move and gather. So, here's how it works, broken down into 3 simple steps. First, the system crunches those trillions of anonymous signals. Then, it uses that data to find the geographic hotspots, the places where people actually live, work, and connect. And finally, it helps map out the key stakeholder groups in those areas, from neighborhoods to transport routes. So the whole point of this is to get away from that old spray and pray approach, where you just blanket an area with ads and hope something sticks. This is the exact opposite. It's about surgical precision. It means you can focus resources only where they'll have a real impact, making everything smarter and a whole lot more effective. So as you can imagine, this technology completely changes the rules of engagement because it's not just about data. It's about using that data to build trust and doing it responsibly. Let's make this real. Think about a major mining project. The challenge today is that they face intense public scrutiny, which leads to slower approvals and higher costs. The solution this data provides is the ability to find and talk to the right stakeholders, right from the very beginning, building trust before opposition even has a chance to get organized. This is how you strengthen that crucial social license to operate, which is really just a fancy way of saying you've earned the community's trust. By using this kind of intelligence, you can build real local partnerships, create ambassador programs with those trusted voices, and ultimately earn genuine credibility with the community. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Trillions of data points? That sounds a little unnerving. But here is the most important part. These systems are built from the ground up to be privacy compliant by design. So how does that work? Well, it uses anonymized advertising IDs from mobile devices. Never people's names, no personal identities are ever collected or revealed. And crucially, all the data comes from opt-in sources only. That means users have already given their consent for their anonymous data to be used. So when you step back and look at the big picture, this is way more than just a new tool. It really represents the new intelligence layer for modern government affairs. It's a fundamental upgrade in how organizations can understand and interact with the public.
Which leaves us with a final, fascinating question to think about. In a world where technology gives every single one of us a platform and a voice, the new challenge isn't about speaking, it's about listening. And data might just be the key to figuring out who we should be listening to.